Durrani. And we do have... Wow!
Oh no!
You gotta be kidding
Oh
me.
my goodness!
Jeffrey Finguy, Zachary Fitzwater. The Durrani boys swept the first row in qualifying here at Watkins Glen, showing the strength of the team. And now it's time for the main event. There are plenty of questions in what is the final road course race of the season. Can Finguy score win number 6? Can Zachary Fitzwater score his first win of 2025? Or can any other driver, potentially other drivers that have won a road course before, claim victory and potentially resurrect their championship hopes? Only time will tell. As we come live here at Watkins Glen International for round 25 of the 2025 PSRLA Cup Series, the Pfizer 400, race 3 of the playoffs. Hello everybody, my name is Alex Vitale. Welcome back to Watkins Glen International. And the story of qualifying was the strength of the Durrani cars. Finguy and Fitzwater was starting on the front row. First is the 41 car, and the second is the 52. And ironically, as I've been saying for virtually the entire time, the two championship leaders essentially has swept the front row. Finguy, of course, leading the playoffs, and Fitzwater leading the Best of the Rest championship. And both of them now have a chance, assuming they're going to have a good result, they're going to extend their respective leads. And of course, Finguy will now love nothing more than extend his lead in the playoff system, considering that, well, he's on course to reconfirm his title won in 2024, hopefully in a legitimate way. But yeah. But of course, we cannot, as we stated last, we cannot exactly exclude all the other road course winners. And one particular thing is that one little bit of fun fact is that of all the road course winners, only one of them is not in the playoffs. Because if you remember, Bryce Egan won at Circuit of the Americas. He is in the playoffs. Jeffrey Finguy won at Troy Riviere. He is in the playoffs. As you said, he's leading it. Nathan Stapleton, he won at Mexico City. He's in the playoffs. Angel Gutierrez, he Road America. He's not in the playoffs. He's the only road course winner that is not in the playoffs. And of course, last time we were on a road course was Willow Springs, and victory went to Andrew Williams. But yeah, of course, all of these guys immediately are in the list, or are part of the super favorites for the year. But as we already seen in qualifying, things tend to happen here at Watkins Glen. So chances are we might actually get a completely different winner than all of these guys. But as I've stated, only time will tell. But yeah, we got 18 laps here on the schedule at Watkins Glen. And I say, let's not waste any more time, and guess what, folks? It's time for racing.
Drivers, start your engines!
The command has been given. These cars will be rolling any second now. And here they are. And in qualifying, Jeffrey Finguy and Zachary Fitzwater will start on pole position. Third will be Gary Movedell. Fourth is Bryce Egan. And then we got Blaine Keys, Reggie Fogelman, Troy Williams Jr., Zane Davidson, Nathan Stapleton, and amazing, surprisingly enough, Hunter Mendoza rounding up the top 10. Of course, I forgot to say in the intro, but very, very amazing performance from Hunter Mendoza in the 28 Williams N racing car. And reminder that at Williams N Racing, if we had a 2026 season, Mendoza would have been forced to find a new team because Williams N Racing was banned from competing in the PSRLA starting next year. Actually, I don't even know if Mendoza would even be in the series for 2026, but a ban in the series in 2026 because only now he has started doing the ratings. So yeah, I guess this could have been considered his last hurrah, or yeah, I guess it could have been considered his last hurrah if the series were going after 2025. But as we stated, once the checkered flag at North Wilkesboro drops, that's it for the PSRLA. As we stated, 18 laps on the itinerary here. And if last year's race is anything to go by, we're going to expect a lot of chaos. But then again, it's not like we were starved of that thanks to what happened in Iowa last week. So this would not be exactly breaking news. And looks like Roberto Crown Jr. might get a problem. That car is slowing down pretty badly, as the pace car is going to pull into the pits. There it is. Zachary Fitzwater and Jeffrey Finguy will lead us to the green flag. Green flag is in the air. We're away at Watkins Glen, and Roberto Crown Jr. does indeed have a problem. So their race is already pretty much compromised, as Fitzwater and Finguy go side by side into the first couple of corners, and Fitzwater is going to take the lead of the race as Egan takes second. Finguy loses 3 positions and looks like he's going to lose 4 because there's Roger Fogelman side by side into the non-bus stop. Yeah, because we're skipping the bus stop, but we're going straight. Finguy is going to defend his position, but Fogelman has got the better line as they come into the boot. Fogelman goes to third as Finguy is going to attack in the boot, and he's going to get the position back. It looks like at least he's half a car length from Fogelman, but Fogelman isn't quitting, he's still there. Now the next corner should be on Fogelman's side, as they're side by side between Blaine Keys and Zane Davidson, the two teammates that Celebrity is racing. One is in the playoff, one isn't. As Fogelman and Fitzwater and Finguy are still side by side, and looks like Finguy is finally going to know they're still side by side, Fogelman and Finguy. As Davidson is still battling with his teammate. Now Davidson manages to clear, and Fitzwater goes wide in trying to defend from Finguy. Through they go to the main straight, and looks like everybody's going to keep it away from the walls, at least now, as Fitzwater is starting to pull away from Bryce Egan. As Fogelman is still there on Finguy. Fogelman is not giving in, is not giving any easy time to Finguy. But now it looks like Finguy is going to finally clear the 95 car. He does, after spending literally 3/4 of the lap side by side, as Fitzwater is pulling away from the 27 car. 1.1 second is the gap, and looks like Fogelman wants third place, is way more faster than Finguy here, but Finguy is gonna shut the door, and Finguy is gonna shut the door, but Fogelman is there. He's definitely going to try something in the next couple of corners. Now there goes Davidson on a dive bomb and a half on Fogelman, on the inside of Fogelman, which now becomes the outside. And Fogelman is still there. Fogelman is looking very fast here at Watkins Glen, and is going to keep the position as Movadell goes through Blaine Keys relatively easy. Now we got Fitzwater, Egan, Finguy, Fogelman, and now Davidson once again is going to try it again on the outside, but Fogelman has got the advantage. As now there's another battle between teammates, this time between Keys and Sastry, always for Celeritas. As Davidson goes wide to defend from Fogelman, and looks like everybody's going to keep it clean, and looked like Mendoza was going to the pits, but no. 1.3 second is the gap between Fitzwater and Egan. Looks like Finguy is going to attack for second. It doesn't look like he's going for second, and they're going to keep it running 1-2, and no. Egan is going to keep the position. That's going to allow Fogelman to try and attack him. But Finguy closes the door, or rather Fogelman switches lanes, and Fogelman is going to clear the 41 car, as now Davidson looks like he's going to have a piece of it as well. Davidson, and now Finguy actually gonna dive bomb. He's gonna save himself from Davidson and potentially overtake Fogelman as well. Can he clear the 95 car? Yes, he did clear it. Can he block at the door? And the answer looks to be yes. Although no, Fogelman Finguy goes a little wide. Fogelman is going to force the issue. And now we got another corner on the left, and that should allow Fogelman to at least battle for at least a little longer. Also, and now it's on the inside. But amazingly enough, all this battle is actually not benefiting Bryce Egan at all, as Fogelman overtakes Finguy. Of course, Fogelman takes the water line to defend. And ooh, Davidson hits the wall. We finally got the first driver to hit the wall. So Davidson is in trouble as Finguy clears from Fogelman. 2.3 seconds is the gap between Fitzwater and Bryce Egan. He's increasing as there's Roberto Chrome Jr. down in dead last. And oh, well, that's Bruno DiGiacomo. If Davidson was the first one to hit the exit, the barrier at the main straight, DiGiacomo is the first driver to hit the the water barrels at pit entry. At least I believe that's Bruno DiGiacomo. Yeah, it is indeed Bruno DiGiacomo. But in the meantime, Fogelman is still in fourth, and Fitzwater is just pulling away from Bryce Egan and his teammate Finguy, who's glued to the rear of Bryce Egan. Of course, he's still going to attempt an overtake. Not many overtaking opportunities here. Maybe here now, unless Egan is going to block the door. And no, Finguy decides to stay behind the 27 car. As Davidson with a heavily damaged car. There's Movidel, there's Kalasostri. As Egan chooses a water line to defend from any possible attacks from Finguy. For the wall they go, and Fitzwater almost brushes the wall, almost hits him. And Finguy has the run towards turn one. Can he make it clear? And the answer is yes, absolutely. Jeffrey Finguy up back into second place. And of course, we will see if Bryce Egan and Reggie Fogelman are going to attack, as Fitzwater is now almost 3 seconds from second place, which has now become his teammate. And Finguy has put a safety gap between himself and Egan. So right now, Finguy can breathe a little easier and potentially try and chase down his teammate. Of course, as I said, Finguy will allow nothing more than to score another win to his name, to add his sixth win. A sixth win to his tally, and of course increase the lead in the championship, as Davidson goes on the outside of Fogelman once again, on the inside of Fogelman, which now becomes the outside in this corner, and Fogelman breaks a lot more later than Davidson does, but Davidson is still here, although Fogelman clears the 51. So Fogelman is going to defend the position right now, and yeah, Finguy is already pulling away from the 27 car. So looks like the battle for the win is going to be between the two Durrani boys, as Davidson is still dealing with Fogelman. Fogelman has looked amazing this race. He hasn't actually been after pretty much disappointing up until this point in the playoffs, but Fogelman is looking pretty racy. So chances are, if these four guys are going to screw up, There's a chance for Fogelman to collect win number 2 to his name, potentially. Well, I'm going to say, and Fitzwater is out. Fitzwater is out of the race. He's blown an engine. And, yeah, the car just straight up stopped. So, Zachary Fitzwater, his dreams of glory, and on lap number 6. As Redley Ream and Aubrey Gardner round up the rear of the field. Also Duncan Ward with heavy damage, and of course Workround Jr. And now, thanks to that, Jeffrey Finguy has never the lead with a sensible gap from Zane Davidson. And at this point, yeah, I honestly feel so sorry for Fitzy. the man has been around for so long, and in his last year, in the race where he finally looked poised to not only win the race but to completely dominate, he's going out of Watkins Glen with basically nothing in his hands. And of course, another opportunity for a 1-2 for Durrani vanishes into thin air. They could have done it last week at Iowa, but Bryce Egan dealt with the lap cars a little bit better than Fitzwater did. And unfortunately, we got only one Durrani car in the field, and that is Jeffrey Finguy, which, of course, he will gladly take the chance, but still, that's gonna sting as Finguy almost hits the wall. And then we got a side-by-side between Movedel and Sostry. Sostry is going to win this, and amazingly enough, the leaders have yet to hit the wall. Well, Davidson did hit the wall, but Egan hasn't, Fogelman hasn't, Sostry hasn't, Movedel hasn't, True Williams Jr. hasn't, Blinkeen hasn't, Nathan Stapleton hasn't, so I'm pretty sure. Then also Andrew Williams didn't, Tom Sloan didn't, and Philip Torres hasn't either. So right now, the playoff guys are keeping it clean here at Watkins Glen. In the meantime, there's Fogelman dealing with his Chevrolet manufacturer mate in Bryce Egan. Can Fogelman make the move as they go through the boot? And Fogelman looks to have cleared the 27. But does Egan have anything to answer? He does answer back. Side by side they go. And now Fogelman should have the advantage. Ooh, bit of contact between the two. And Fogelman clears the 27 car. He just straight up passes the 27 car. So right now Fogelman is going to defend the position unless he has anything to say about it. And the answer looks to be no. As I believe Davidson is actually getting closer to Finguy. I think he's getting closer. But we'll see. We will have to see the on the next lap on the ticker. We'll have to see the updated gaps on the ticker. But of course, we're on lap number 8. There are 11 laps to go. So pit stop would have become. I know the gap. Yeah, the gap has decreased. 1.3 seconds is the gap between Finguy and Zane Davidson. Of course, we're on lap 8. We're 11 laps to go, so you would assume pit stop should be coming any moment now. And of course, we're watching the review of Alex Jr., the Carson Miller, Justin Perez, Alexander Rowe. There's Lara Koshmar, who would be the lowest position driver of the playoffs if it wasn't for. There is a Roberto Crown Jr. And I believe only one DNF, and that is Bruno Di Giacomo. Of course, that had to be for my team, but whatever. Only one DNF. Actually, no, 2 DNFs because of Fitzwater. But still, only one car retired because of the crash into the pit entry. So, I guess it can be considered at least a better effort than it was last year. But in the meantime, the top 10 currently is Jeffrey Finguy, Zane Davidson, Reggie Fogelman, Bryce Egan, Kelly Sawstrike. Great race from Sawstrike, only in the top 5. There's Movidell, Troy Williams Jr., Stapleton, Keys, Sloan, Andrew Williams, and Philip Torres, and Avery Alpha and Skylar Taylor, and Hunter Mendoza. Still a very important, impressive race for Hunter Mendoza in 15th. As Finguy is going to the wall, is going to the pits, and let's see if what kind of shenanigans are going to continue. As Egan and Sawstrike are going to continue, so does Stapleton. Keys, Sloan. Because we will see if Koshmar missed pit entry. So did Evans. Koshmar missed pit entry. So did Evans. As Finguy, of course, full tires and fuel. Let's see who's going to win this battle off of pit road, and the answer looks to be Jeffrey Finguy. Championship leader will leave the pits in first, and excluding all the guys that didn't pit right now, he should be the race leader, as everybody's pitting. Jack Haas is having difficulties in the pits behind them. It took a very long time to get out of there, as almost a bit of contact between Movidell and Mendoza, as all these guys are leaving the pits. Kind of a really awkward pit exit, but still, Finguy is out in first, and technically he should be the current champion, the current leader, as Rookrow Jr. is in the pits. Right now the leader on track is Bryce Egan, but he's got a pit, so does Sawstrike, pretty much everybody else, and especially Evans and Koshmar, who missed out on pit entry, who absolutely overshot pit entrance. But I assume, of course, this group is going to pit, so Finguy should be the leader again, and all of them are going to be clean. The answer looks to be yes, and Evans and Koshmar actually get it right this time. There goes Johnson, and I believe that's basically it. All of them managed to get out of pit road, get into pit road relatively safe with no problems whatsoever. But now comes Jeffrey Finguy, and he keeps it clean, and now he should be the leader once again, unless can you actually make it happen? And the answer is yes. Jeffrey Finguy back into the lead of the race. Second will be Reggie Fogelman, who deals with Lara Koshmar relatively easily. Then it should be Bryce Egan, Lara Sawstrike, Troy Williams Jr., Tom Sloan, Nathan Stapleton, Andrew Williams, Jonathan Carrison, and Blaine Keys. So Finguy is back into the lead, and at this point, of course, he will try and go as fast as he possibly can from this man, Reggie Fogelman, who now needs only to have the other Durrani car and to have a problem like what happened with Fitzwater, and the win will be his. Of course, that'll also be good points for Koshmar, currently last in the playoffs. There's Bryce Egan, there's Kelly Sawstrike, and of course, actually, where is Avery Alford? Alford is right behind Keys. He should be, I believe, in the top. Actually, hold on a second. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So Alford is 11th, and of course, there's going to be a lot of points gained for Best of the Rest Championship, as Alford dealt with Blink Keys pretty easily. Now the 23 driver goes on the hunt for Andrew Williams, as we got a battle between the other Williams, Troy Williams Jr. and Kelly Sawstrike. And Koshmar back into the pits. Koshmar back into the pits. For what reason, I have no idea, but Koshmar back into the pits. So that's a position gained on That's another position gain for all of these guys with no effort. As now Williams Jr. and Sostroy are dealing with Tom Sloan. Williams Jr. goes through the 43 car with no problems whatsoever. A little bit of a problem for Sostroy. As now the gap between the battle for the win is between these two guys, between Fogelman and Fitzwater and Finguy, because the gap between Fogelman and Egan is basically 8 seconds. Of course, also the fact that Egan is involved in this battle between his four-way battle for third place for the final step on the podium. But yeah. There's Alfred, Williams, and Stapleton in the meantime. And Fogelman looks to at least have gained something from Finguy. I could be mistaken. Of course, we will see once the ticker updates, once they cross the line and the update and the times get updated. But in the meantime, there's Ryan Little behind Blink Keys, 12th place for Ryan Little. That's a really good performance from Ryan Little, considering that he pretty much underperformed in AG's cars. In the meantime, where did Mendoza go? There's I believe that was that's Gary Movidel. Movidel is down in 23rd. And there's Hunter Mendoza. Hunter Mendoza is down in 24th, which is a little bit more closer to what his performances would allow. As Avery Alford, pretty much brute forces his way through Andrew Williams. As the gap between Fogelman and Fitz and Finguy hasn't decreased to 1.2 seconds. Is the gap between the two, and now Egan has pulled away from Williams Jr. between the trio of Sloan, Williams Jr. and Southstry. Of course, he will try and catch Fogelman to potentially make this a freeway battle for the win. As Williams is now battling with Southstry. Southstry goes on the inside of the 96 checker flag car. But now Williams Jr. is going to have the advantage on the line. And now Fogelman, Williams Jr. clears the 21 car. Can Sostroy answer back? The answer is no. He's going to still behind the 96 car. As Fogelman has indeed catched on to Jeffrey Finguy. So right now Finguy cannot do a single mistake because this man is right behind him. I mean, right now even second place would be good for Finguy, considering that his nearest championship rivals are all having bad days, maybe except for Stapleton. But still, I'm pretty sure the guy, no pun intended, will love a win more than anything else. So that his cushion on the lead will get bigger. In the meantime, 1.7 seconds is the gap between Egan and Fogelman, so he has decreased a little bit. As now Stapleton goes on the inside of Sostroy, and he goes through. Next target will be Troy Williams Jr. Sorry. And of course, this was the bus stop. He will definitely try it on the bus stop, but we don't do the bus stop, so I'll have to wait once we get to in the booth. In the meantime, I would assume the gap between Finguy and Fogelman has stabilized itself. It looks a lot more than just 1 second. So of course we'll see what happens in the ticker. In the meantime, Bryce Egan and Tom Sloan have pulled. Actually, no. Sloan did not pull away. He has a safety gap, but did not exactly pull away like Egan has done to the Irishman. Of course, there's Stapleton ready to pounce on Williams Jr. Stapleton, he won at Mexico City. Pretty much he led from flag to flag at Mexico City. As we come to lap number 14. Around the final corner they go, and both drivers are going to keep it clean, but Fogelman has the better exit. It's pretty much going to absolutely chomp down all the gap that he had from Finguy, so now Finguy cannot afford any more mistakes. 5 laps to go here at Watkins Glen. He's glued to the rear. Fogelman is glued to the rear of the 41 car. Can Fogelman attempt a move? And the answer looks to be almost, but not quite. As Finguy, of course, will try everything that he can to defend himself, to defend the lead. But I would assume he should have gained the extra points for the most laps led. But of course, as we stated, Finguy will love a win. But of course, second place will also be good. And everybody here is single file. Now, in terms of playoff drivers, of course, Finguy, Fogelman are first and second. So we got 3 playoff drivers in Finguy, Fogelman, and Egan who are first, second, and third. Then we got Williams Jr. in 5th. Then we got Stapleton in 6th. Then we got Andrew Williams in 9th. Then is Jonathan Carrison in 12th. Then we got then we got Gary Morvedel is in 18th. Then we got and that's basically all of them. Actually, hold on a minute. Of course, Brother Jacob retired. Zachary Fitzwater retired. They're not the playoff drivers, but they were DNFs. For the year, Roberto Crown Jr. is down in 37th, and at this point, that's gonna give his championship, their championship chances a big hammer blow. Larry Koshwar is also in 35th. The championship didn't look pretty good, and Fogelman and Finguy goes into the pits. Fogelman is going to continue for one more lap. So these cars cannot go to the end of the race, it looks like. So it does Troy Williams Jr. And now we will see if there's going to be an absolute amazing call by the Durrani boys, or this will be the call the gifts Fogelman the win, and most importantly completely destroys Finguy's lead in the playoffs. Of course, we will see if these guys will have to pit as well. Now Fogelman has a humongous gap from Bryce Egan, but these guys will have to pit again. There's Ryan Little battling with Andrew Williams in the main straight. Can he make the move stick? They make contact, and Little cannot make the move stick as they come into the boot section. Little has the advantage, but now the line switches in favor of Williams. And Andrew Williams almost clears the 59. He clears the 59 car. Can he close the door on him? And the answer looks to be yes, absolutely. So Andrew Williams is going to defend this position. While we go back up front. Will Roger Fogelman also pit, or they will continue? There's Duncan Ward also in the pits. Of course, a very race to forget for the Scottish Steamroller. But in the meantime, let's see if Fogelman will have to pit. And no, Fogelman will continue. Fogelman will continue. Anybody else is going to pit? And the answer looks to be no. So maybe Finguy either did so maybe this was a very bad call on the on Durrani's part, or maybe Finguy had a problem with the car. Right now he's down to the top 10, and so unless something big happens, this is basically going to be the race. Jeffrey Finguy, who pretty much dominated the race, now looks like he's going to gift this one to Reggie Fogelman. Of course, Fogelman, big merits to Fogelman. The guy was fast. The guy has been fast the entire race, and been really fast this entire race. And of course, if he wins, he was at the right place at the right time. He used both the misfortunes of the Durrani guys ahead of him to take his second win. Of course, that's gonna make Nathan Stapleton a very happy man, because this should have actually bumped his championship hopes back on track. Not so much for Roberto Crown Jr., whose championship chances will suffer a major hammer blow. But now let's see if, as you saw there, more cars are pitted. But now let's see if Finguy has to pit. Or actually, no, Finguy did pit. Let's see if these guys will have to pit or they'll continue on. As Stapleton is getting near Bryce Egan. Let's see what Fogelman does. Fogelman will continue. Fogelman will continue. So I would assume, yeah, either Finguy cannot make it to the end of the race or his car suffer problems. And I think that's pretty much going to be it for the race. Unless again some major drama happens, but more drivers are entering the pits. There's Garen over there, and for the Nicola. You see there, you see the Josh Neely playing keys in the pits. And now Bryce Egan is going to pull the safety cap from Stapleton, as Southstry is in a top 5 spot. And I believe that will be his best result in the entire year, I believe. A 5th place for Kelly Southstry. As considering that pretty much all his other teammates have faltered down. Of course, Frank Coopers would have something to celebrate at least. But now Fogelman is a couple of corners away from taking the white flag, but of course we'll still have to know if Fogelman will have to pit or he has enough fuel or the tires are still good enough that he can make it all the way with just one stop. Only time will tell as Fogelman goes through the final corner. And he does not pit. He has enough to make it to the end. And Reggie Fogelman is going to take the white flag. 1 lap to go for Reggie Fogelman. As more drivers in the pit. There's Torres, there's Jack House, there's Charlie Davenport. As Southstry is going to take 5th place away from Tom Sloan. Southstry is now up to 4th. Now let's see if Stapleton can actually take away 2nd place away from Bryce Egan. He's got 3.4 miles left. As this man pretty much has the race in the bag unless something major happens. Stapleton is glued to the rear of the 27 car of Bryce Egan. And but Stapleton will decide to wait a little bit longer to try and attack as they come into the boot section. Stapleton still glued to the 27, but Egan is doing everything to make sure that Stapleton does not have an opportunity to attack. As Fogelman flies to his 2nd race win of 2025. Not much distance left between Fogelman and his 2nd win of the season. As Egan still manages to defend from Stapleton. Stapleton cannot find any opportunity to overtake him. But now we focus on Reggie Fogelman. The guy has been fast for the first time since Bristol. He has used the misfortunes of the Durrani boys to perfection. 1 more corner to go for Reggie Fogelman. And now we can add his name to the road course winners. Reggie Fogelman wins at Watkins Glen. There's Alexander Rowe, and Bryce Egan is going to win the battle for 2nd place between himself and Fogelman. And Stapleton. Stapleton goes in 3rd. Of course, good result for Nathan Stapleton. That should bring his championship back on track. Of course, also for Bryce Egan. Jeffrey Finguy finishes the race in 9th place after looking like he was going to dominate. After it looked like he pretty much had it in the bag, he had to pull into the pits while this man did not. Or any other of these guys didn't. But yeah. And that is all for the road courses. Of course, for a great win for Appalachian Motorsports, who, because of Killer Bros taking over some of the series over at AG's channel. They're going to shut down. Rose is going to shut down his Appalachia the Wobble Cup Series operation. So he'll be glad to know that at least Appalachia is doing absolutely fine here. And actually, come to think of it, a couple of hours ago, Trey Wright won at Watkins Glen in an Appalachia car, in the 90 car, and now Reggie Fogelman has won. And now Reggie Fogelman has won at Watkins Glen, so 2 for 2 for Appalachia Motorsports. So Caleb will definitely be happy about that. And did Fogelman run out of fuel? I think he's going very slow, so I think he ran out of fuel. So Fogelman was running on fumes. Okay, now this makes his win even more impressive than it actually is. The guy was running on fumes, and now his bear is now crawling back to its pit stall. But yeah, this makes this win even more impressive than it already is. But yeah. Final results: Reggie Fogelman wins at Watkins Glen. Second will be Bryce Egan. Third will be Nathan Stapleton. That will be Kelly Salzroy, Tom Sloan, Avery Alford, Jonathan Carrison, Andrew Gutierrez, Jeffrey Finguy, and Luke Evans rounding up the top 10. Great result for both Salzroy and Luke Evans. Also got another great result for Brendan Beal in 11th. Then we got Ryan Little in 13th. Then we got Hunter Mendoza in 20th. Still a pretty good result, despite still, I'd say a relatively decent result, but of course a bit of a disappointment considering that he started 10th. But still. Now in terms of playoff drivers, Fogelman, Egan, and Stapleton 1, 2, 3. Then we got Carrison in 7th, Finguy in 9th, Williams in 12th, Williams Jr. in 14th, Cauchburn in 16th, Davidson in 21st. Then we got Movidel in 26th. And of course the rest of the field. Crown in 33rd. And Torres in 36th, 2 laps down. Rowe and Alexander Rowe, Duck Award, 1 lap down. Torres and Haas 2 laps down. Charlie Davenport 3 laps down. Our only DNFs, amazingly enough, only Zachary Fitzwater and Bruno DiGiacomo. Of course, Zachary Fitzwater, again, very, very heartbroken for Fitzwater, because the guy looked absolutely. I'm pretty sure this was the first time where Fitzwater looked really in contention for a win, but unfortunately the engine gave up on him. So yeah, not exactly a race to remember for Ryan Durrani and both the Durrani boys. And of course, with the screw up of Finguy's pit crew, this never going to have ramifications to the championship. And of course, we're going to check those ramifications right now. Let's check out the championship standings after the race. And we're back live here at Watkins Glen International for the Pfizer 400 that has just finished. And Jeffrey Finguy will be happy to know that he will leave Watkins Glen still in the lead of the championship now, although only 10 points by Nathan Stapleton, who now jumps up to 2nd. Jonathan Carrison also jumps to 3rd, he jumps 2 places. Bryce Egan jumps up to 4th, he jumps 4 places. Zane Davidson drops down to 6th, Bulgaria Model drops down to 6th, Andrew Williams is in 7th, Roberto Crown Jr. is in 8th, Reggie Fogelman jumps up in 3 places and is now in 9th. Next, Williams Jr., Lana Koshmar, and now Philip Torres, who is now the last of the playoff drivers. And thanks to Fitzwater's retirement, now Avery Alford now leads the Best of Rest Championship, 4 points clear of the Aussie driver. And I believe the biggest winners were Bryce Egan, and yeah, there was only Bryce Egan. Bryce Egan with 4 position gained, and the biggest loser is Philip Torres, and yeah, it's only Philip Torres with 3 positions lost. So yeah, so the biggest gainer, so the biggest jumper and the biggest dropout are both playoff drivers. But yeah, actually no, never mind. No, Movidel is the biggest dropout. Still playoff driver, but Movidel lost 4 places. But yeah, Bryce Egan, biggest jumper. Gary Movidel, biggest dropout. But yeah, of course, this is not a good way to finish. You agree with me that this was not a great way to finish a race when the leader has a problem and the winner basically gets the win on a silver platter. But again, to give credit to Fogelman was at the right position at the right time. He used both the Durrani guy's misfortune to take himself the win. And unfortunately, that's part of racing. You take it's also there. Of course, skill is involved, but there's also plenty of luck, which is something that the Durrani guys did not have here at Watkins Glen. But yeah, now, as we stated, all the road courses are done, and the next race should be should be back at the one and a half miler. And it's good. Never mind. We're going to short track. We're going to Richmond. We're going to Richmond next. Then we go back to Daytona. And then we go to Darlington. Then then we'll go for the Energizer 300 at Gateway Worldwide Technology Raceway. Then we go to Talladega, New Hampshire, and then the finale at North Wilkesboro. Of course, New Hampshire was supposed to be the finale, but before races that we all know at this point, it's now North Wilkesboro this is the finale. But yeah, there's nothing else to be said here other than this has been a special presentation of the 2025 PSRLA Cup Series 44/7 Network. I'm Alex Vitale, and see you next week for round 26 of the championship race for the playoffs at Richmond Raceway. So long, everybody, for Watkins Glen. Again to Reggie Fogelman.